Romeo.
K4R, K4JAL, you're sounding good, Brian.
Hello, CQ, the old friends net. CQ, this is November 4, Lima, Quebec. Name is Steve, and the QTH is Shelby, North Carolina. The old friends net operates in the old-fashioned round table method, where we make a list of calls that check in, and you transmit in that order. We meet here every Sunday at 4 p.m. and on Tuesday and Thursday at 8 a.m. on 3715 KCs in the amplitude modulation mode only. We enjoy using and talking about boat anchors and old tube-type gear So those wishing to check in, call now.
Good afternoon, Steve, WA4LLR. KN4R.
WS2U.
W4DCS.
K1BVC.
WB4NKL.
K4JAL.
WN4PFI.
W4HKZ.
Okay, I think I missed somebody there along the way. But here's what I got. Now, the first guy that checked in was real distorted, and I couldn't quite understand it. And I'm not sure it sounded like K4GDM, but I don't think it was. Can somebody fill me in on that one?
Well, the first guy was WA4LLR. The one after me was distorted.
Well, that's the guy I'm after.
It was probably me, K4GDN.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what I thought, GDN. You're really strong, but you were pretty messed up there. But you're okay now, George. All right, here's what I got. WA4LLR, K4GDN, KN4R, WF2U, W4DCS, K1VVC, WB4NKL, K4JAL, WN4PFI, and W4HK Zebra. And I think I missed somebody in there right before Doug. It was kind of weak. So if there's anybody else I missed or somebody else wants to check in, give me a call now.
Yeah, that was Bruce right before Doug.
Okay. WD. Anybody else want to check in? Okay, oh, that's pretty good. For the first time at 4 o'clock, I sent a notice out on the email, but I was a little bit late, and I apologize for that. I should have done it yesterday, I guess. But we got a pretty good crowd here today, and I know some people are getting a little bit of rain, and we'd like to have a little bit of rain here, but it's just kind of a gloomy, drizzly looking day. It's 56 degrees in Shelby, and nothing earth shattering going on here at all. Just kind of hanging around the shack. Don't really feel like going outside too much today. It's a little cool, so maybe tomorrow it will warm up some. So copying everybody good already. Sounds great. Dave, go ahead and take it. And you'll pass it to George. And let me go down the list real quick, just in case. LLR, GDN, 4R, F2U, WD, DCS, VVC, NKL, JAL, PFI, and HKZ. Go ahead, WA4LLR, N4LQ.
All righty, N4LQ and the old friends, WA4LLR. Good afternoon to everybody. So far, good copy. Band's pretty quiet, and signals are nice and strong. 57 degrees and low overcast, a misty rain out there, nothing measurable. Kind of like you said, Steve, it's kind of a gloomy looking afternoon. Running the BC610C, receiving on the BC 342N. So that's the conditions here. George will send it down to the coast. K4GDN, WA4LLR.
WA4LLR in the group. This is K4GDN. Hope I'm not overdriving this thing. I'm on a little different rig today. I'm running the Yaesu FT1000 into the Drunk L4B. I guess putting out about 200 watts or so of carrier. Feeding that to the Johnson Matchbox in the center field back row. So far copying everybody pretty well except for the tail of the crowd here. So with that, I'll pass it on to Brian, KN4R, K4GDN.
Okay, George, very good. K4GDN in the Old Friends. This is Brian, KN4R, Cheryl's Ford, where it's also 57 degrees and just a little chilly and overcast, and I'm hoping for the rain too. And I am on the 1950-ish GRC9 here, and I'm being helped along by a little solid-state amplifier. Looks like I'm running about 90 watts or so. So hope everybody's copying. So over to you, Mayor, WF2U, and the Old Friends. This is KN4R.
Yeah, Roger, KN4R in the group, WF2U. Good afternoon. What a pleasure to start at 4 o'clock. It's raining here, and I walked out in the rain. I enjoyed actually walking around the house all the way to the shack without pain, and I didn't care whether I get wet or not, but it was just a big difference from before the surgery. So anyway, signals are relatively good, although I think the band is not fully developed yet. But Steve, you are 10 over 9. Dave, 5 over 9. George, you were 8 over 9. S8, which is pretty good. Brian is S9, nice with a GRC9, plus a little help there. And I'll give reports as we go along the net. And I'm using, for simplicity's sake, because it's all set on frequency, and it's all ready to go just by turning the power on. My good old 1980s Yaesu station, the FR101D receiver, the FL101 transmitter, driving the FL2100B amplifier to about 300 and change, about 320 or so watts peak on AM into the 80-meter end-fed half-wave antenna. I didn't look at the thermometer yet, but it feels a little bit chilly outside, and but it was good to take a little bit of a walk around the house to get here to the shack. So with that, it goes to W4DCS. Oh no, sorry, it goes to Bruce. N4WD and the group. This is WF2U.
Okay, Miller. N4WD. My CW on the power line is back, but in the 3 minutes after the net started up, everybody's signal jumped up 5 or more S units. So I must have dried the antenna out, even though it's not raining. 66 degrees Fahrenheit, overcast. They keep calling for rain, but it keeps moving away from us. None here yet. Drizzly day. I'm like Steve. Good time to stay in the house. Clip, got the sockets, got them burnished up, get them cleaned. Got to clean them up a little bit, get some of the tarnish off of them. So the next thing is to get the beast on the bench and get those in, and there's a QSL card on its way to you in appreciation. So hope everybody's having a good weekend, and the net keeps building up. And I think it goes to YBC Doug. If I'm wrong, Steve, correct me. N4WD.
Goes to DCS.
Okay.
Okay. Well, good morning.
from Winston-Salem. W4DCS. I was not able to copy Bruce. It's got this intermittent problem on the rig. I'm going to have to switch rigs. The microphone jack needs attention. So I apologize for that. But, yeah. I'm up, buddy. Bruce is quite light. I can copy him. And on the here, thing acting up. I'll go ahead and pass it on. Sorry about BBC W4DCS.
Yeah, very good. W4DCS, K1VVC. Yeah, Doug, you do have a little bit of problem with your microphone. It's kind of broken up. Good to hear everybody on today, and certainly enjoyed seeing everybody at the lunch on Thursday. Had a really good time there. Kind of a lazy day today. Have not done much of anything except maybe work a little bit on a couple of radios. But it's nice that we're back at the 4 o'clock time. I'm running a Johnson Viking 1 and receiving on a Pearson KP81 receiver. With that, over to Cliff. Good seeing you on Thursday. WB4NKL, K1VVC.
K1VVC, WB4NKL on the ART-13. Yeah, it was good to see everybody at the luncheon and enjoyed that, and got to do a lot of swapping and trading going on. So, mini ham fest there Thursday. Bruce, glad you got the sockets, and hope to hear that rig on the air before long. And let's see, Jimmy, I'll go ahead and, it's a misty rain here. It started in about 1:30. Not much, not amounted to much, but there's a little bit of moisture, so it's good to see it. Send it on to Jimmy. Go ahead, Jimmy. K4JAL, WB4NKL.
WB4NKL, K4JAL. Well, I'm running the Johnson Viking 2 again today and listening on R390 and using a Cobra antenna. I've got an unamplified D104 here. I would have been on the ART-13. I worked all day trying to get there, but I used a dial key rather than the internal receiver connection. All that unshielded wire bothered me, and the dial key wasn't any good, but transmitter worked good. Don listened to me when I just straight wired it over, and it's working good. The D104, only one I've got with Collins plug on it, is amplified, but it doesn't have the pot in it to adjust the amplification. So I don't know how that's going to work. I guess you gurus could tell me that probably the receive output on ART-13 would be just fine, but I don't like all that unshielded stuff around there. Just call me a chicken. WN4PFI, K4JAL. Over to you, Patrick.
WN4PFI. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you can copy. I am on a Johnson Ranger Barefoot with about 40, a little over 40 watts. So, Steve, I guess you can let me know if I'm being copied. It is 50 degrees here in North Georgia mountains with a light rain, and the fog or the clouds have moved in now so that we cannot see anything. So, but do let me know if this is still copyable. I can just get out of here if it's not. Ken, over to you, W4HKZ. This is WN4PFI.
W4HKZ, you copy, Ken? It's your turn. W4HKZ, are you there? Okay, well, we'll get him later. Do we have any more check-ins to the Old Friends Net? Come now.
W4MEEC.
Well, better Nate than Lever. W4MEC. Go ahead and turn it back to me, Charlie.
Okay. N4LQ in the group W4MEC. Well, I popped in when Cliff was transmitting. I was sitting out there working on that HRO and the SP10. Sitting there thinking, the net starts at 6 o'clock tonight, and then my brain went, wait a minute, it's 10 after 4, so I tore in here. So sorry I'm late, but just totally slipped my mind that we moved it back, so I'll do better next time, Chief. So it's raining here, 53 degrees, overcast, kind of dreary afternoon here. And other than that, not a whole lot going on. N4LQ, W4MEC.
Oh, okay. Well, at least you were being productive there, working on radios, which you do a lot of, I know. And we all admire and appreciate all that. This is N4LQ. One more time for any late check-ins. Okay. Well, I guess I can say that I really, really enjoyed the lunch at Golden Corral with you guys, and the chicken livers were exceptionally delicious. Best I've ever seen them. They had a crunchy, crispy shell on them, and they just melted in your mouth after you chew them up, sort of like M&M's candy. And I ate a pretty good bunch of those, and of course got some chocolate cake and ice cream to go with it, and some pears. So I enjoyed the conversations that we had, and let's see, Brian and Gary came along with me, and Gary and I got into this long discussion about different types of modulation and screen grid versus plate modulation and all kinds of crazy things. And we like to do that. And I wish he could have been here today, but he probably forgot. Anyway, let's see. Dave, 610 sounds really good. And George, you pretty well got that thing tamed. A little bit heavy on the audio, but sounds pretty good. And the signal is amazingly strong. You're stronger than Cliff is right now, but I'm sure that'll change as the day wears on. Brian, sounding good on that JRC9 and mirror on the ASU. Yeah, Doug, you still got some mic problems there. You need to get the soldering iron after that thing, I guess. And boy, John, using a Pearson receiver. I bet I have seen that when I was down there, but I don't think you have to worry about anybody else showing up here with a Pearson receiver. And tell us about it. Is it, what's the story on that thing? Where did it come from? When was it made? And is that ham band only or general coverage or what? And the ART-13's all sounding good. Jimmy, that Viking 2 sounds absolutely beautiful, and I wouldn't mess with that. You're doing good on that Cobra. I don't know what you're talking about as far as bare wires. I mean, if something isn't dangerous, it's really not much fun, really. You need to enjoy yourself and enjoy those dangerous things. So anyhow, we'll try one more time for Ken, WHKZ. Are you still around, Ken? Over?
W4HKZ. Yes, I'm around. QSB gets about a third of what I've got here. I got lots of line noise today, I regret. So it isn't anything anybody's doing. Some of you guys are very strong and cover it up. But I'm here, but conditions are pretty bad. So let me bow out. But I've enjoyed it, and I'll listen as much as I can. Rise up. So let's see. We go back to the top. No, does it go to Charlie? It's Charlie's turn. Over.
Oh, no, it goes back to me. Okay, Ken, we'll let you go. You're coming in pretty good here. No problem copying at all. But let's see. Doak, you'll just turn it over to Charlie then, and Charlie back to me. So 73s, and thanks for checking in, Ken. And it was good to see you at the luncheon. WA4LLR, N4LQ.
All righty, N4LQ and the group WA4LLR. I think I can honestly say that's the first time I've heard chicken livers compared to M&Ms. Oh man. Well, I sure hate I missed the get-together. Had every intention of being there, but the Cajun Navy showed up to get rid of our fallen trees. And we'd had requests in for quite some time with FEMA and anybody else we could find, and we finally put in a request with the Cajun Navy, and lo and behold, they showed up, and boy, they got it done. So I hated to miss the get-together, but I had to seize the moment. Carpe diem. Steve, thanks again for that meter. I tested it out, and it works great for what I want it to do. So hopefully I can get that project put together here before too long. This week's just been a blur with the two funerals and church services and everything else that's going on. Let's see here. Brian, that GRC9 is absolutely blasting in up here. Wow, it's got a whopper of a signal. And mirror you as well. Bruce, glad you got the tube sockets. Doug, sorry about the mic issues. John, that Viking 1 sounds really good. And Jimmy, thanks for the delivery service on the on that meter. And the Viking 2, like Steve said, is doing a great job. And Doak, the Ranger Barefoot, has got a great signal up here. No issues whatsoever. Well, let's see. A few items. Our space weather. Solar flux 176. Sunspot count's 176. Solar flux index is 221. The K is 5, so theoretically we're having a minor geomagnetic storm, but it sure doesn't seem to be hurting anyone. Few items from this day in history. On this day in 1871, Henry Stanley found Dr. Livingston while they were looking for the source of the Nile River. On this day in 1895, X-rays were discovered by Mr. Röntgen. God knows how that's actually pronounced, but something along those lines. On this day in 2001, China was taken into the World Trade Organization as a member. On this day in 1990, the comedy film Home Alone aired on American TV. Always enjoyed that movie. On this day in 1982, Leonard Brezhnev passed away in Moscow. On this day in 1975, the American freighter Edmund Fitzgerald sank in Lake Superior. On this day in 1969, Sesame Street aired. On this day in 1958, the Hope Diamond was donated to the Smithsonian. So that's about enough of that. All right, George, here it comes back down to you with the FT1000 and the L4B. K4GDN, WA4LLR.
Okay, WA4LLR in the group is K4GDN. And I turned the mic gain down just a little bit. Hopefully that'll help some. And I'm getting a little further away from the microphone. And my monitor looks like I'm not doing too bad there. Copying everybody fairly well, with the exception of Bruce. Couldn't copy him a bit. There is some QSB in here. And it seems like it's a combination of both slow and fast, which is really kind of strange. Right now in Myrtle Beach, it's very cloudy. We're expecting rain tomorrow. It's in the low 70s. I really wish it was calm. I envy you guys with the cooler weather. I'm much more at home with it cold than I am with it hot and humid. Be glad we can get back up to Spartanburg. Sorry I missed the meeting, but that's how it goes. Anyway, I think I'm going to say 73 on this round, but I'll probably listen till this one is over in case there's anything I need to come back to. So with that, Brian, it's coming to you. KN4R in the group, K4GDN.
Okay, George, very good. K4GDN in the old friends. This is Brian, KN4R returning. George, that audio sounds really, really good now. So congratulations on, I think you have tamed it. and copied everybody except for Bruce. I copied him when he checked in, but the conditions seem to be getting better. So, and George, I agree about the cooler weather. My wife's been wanting to wear a sweater lately, and today's the first day actually that we've had in some time. So maybe we've turned the corner on the cool weather. So, but everybody's sounding good. I'll let John talk about his Pearson KP81, but I just wanted to say that Carl Pearson, who designed that receiver, he was involved in the search for Amelia Earhart, both in 1935 when she successfully flew from Hawaii to California, and then later on when she went around the world tour. He wasn't able to pick her up, but maybe that's why he designed such a great receiver that John has. So, and Charlie, I'm glad you checked in. I was trying to get the TCS going for the net. The receiver's working, the power supply's working. I have two transmitters. Both act very similarly. Both key. Both show plate current. And if you put it in CW mode, it shows twice as much plate current as in AM, which is also supposed to be correct. Transmitter 2 has nice audio too in a local monitor receiver. The big thing is just no dip. I'm not seeing any output indication on the built-in RFM meters or an external watt meter, you know, on the lowest setting. And I've tried a 200 puff inline and a 400 puff inline series as well. So anyway, it was about 4:45 when I got to that point, and so I just kind of said, hey, I'll come up here and get on the GRC9 instead, but I'm going to go back at it. So if anybody has any ideas on how to proceed, let me know. And I did set this up, all the controls, just like yours, Charlie, so I really appreciate both those microcapacitors and also the information that you did share. So we're getting close. So back over to you, Mayor. WF2, you in the group, KN4R.
Yeah, okay, Brian, KN4R in the group. This is WF2U. Yeah, very good signals. Actually, signal strengths improved, and everybody's booming in. Well, I used my GRC9 a lot on the old FriendsNet several years ago until I moved it and put it on another shelf. But I used it with the original amplifier that was made for it for the NATO forces, and it's called the LV80. It was made by Telefunken in Germany. With a pair of the 24-volt equivalents of the 6146s, and it was rated to put out 60 watts on AM, and I used it a lot. It works great. I think it's time to hook it up again. But I don't really. I'm not familiar with what amplifier you're using with it. So I really can't help you with that. I can either tell you how it behaves barefoot or with the LV80. The LV80 has all the metering on it, and then I just go into a regular a commercial SWR meter / power meter, and almost all my SWR meters have also the peak reading feature. So, but this way I can't help you. And yes, I enjoyed the get-together, a luncheon, and was happy to see everybody, and I was happy to finally getting more and more freedom walking and going to places, and without any problems. And it's great. It brings me back to like several years ahead before my knee started to go, and it's just great. So this coming week, I'm going to start physical therapy and work out to get my muscles back and muscle tones back, and get back to the original range of motion, and I'll be all set, and then I'll be able to drive also. Right now they told me not to drive until I get the okay for it, because just in case I need an emergency braking or something, I might not have the same reaction time or strength even to step on it. So they told me it's better if I'm not driving for a couple or 3 more weeks or so. So with that, anyway, everybody sounds good. Dave, the BC610 sounds good too. All the ART13s sound good. And with that, it goes to Bruce at 4WD and the group. This is WF2U.
Okay, Mir. In 4WD. Well, I'm glad you're getting around. Just don't get out there and slip, please. And I'll be glad. I know you'll be glad when you can get back in the car and they give you the go-ahead so that you can start working with the dogs again. And Cliff, I had another question for you on the R392 audio tube, the 26, whatever it is, I can't remember right at the moment. I found a solid state diagram for replacement, but I'm not sure about it. I don't know if it's the same thing like you were talking to me about or not. Got a 26A7. So if you run across your diagram, email it to me. I would appreciate it. And let me compare notes with this other one before we start digging in and trying to find the FETs and everything to try to build that. I hope everyone has a good week coming up. Those that haven't got rain, if you need it, hope you get it. And it looks like it's going to be cool and drizzly all week here. That being said, let's see, DCS N4WD, to you, sir.
Okay, W4DCS, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here, Steve, thanks. Yeah, I couldn't, I just had trouble copying Bruce there. I did see the carrier go away, but anyways, I'm on the Harvey Wells into the SB220, so should be okay now. Yeah, sorry I missed the get-together. I haven't made one yet. Eventually I will. I was thinking I'd come Thursday, but I also had tree guys show up. I had to wait about right at a month before they could get here, and had 3 trees removed in the back. So I'm running out of trees. I gotta at least keep 2. hold the wire antenna up. So anyways, not much to tell here. He's watching football and fell asleep during the game that the Panthers were in Germany today, where they beat the New York Giants. That was kind of interesting. And yeah, gloomy outside. I don't think we've got any rain here. I hadn't been outside and checked recently, but doesn't look like we've got any here. So anyways, I won't hold it. We'll keep it going. John, here you go. K1VVC, W4DCS.
Yeah, very good. W4 DCS in the group, K1VVC. Copying everybody real well today. Steve, you had asked about this Pearson KP81. It's a very sophisticated, I guess, receiver for 1948 when it first came out. They only made 300 of them, supposedly, and it was very expensive. And it's heavy. It uses a sliding coil assembly similar to what some of the national receivers did. And it covers, like 500 kilohertz to 30 megahertz. General coverage with band spread on the ham bands. and it's 20 tubes. What's interesting about it is that the power supply and all the audio section, tubes, amplifiers, is in the speaker cabinet, and it's got a big heavy cable that connects, so the receiver is about 60 pounds and the speaker and power supply is about 60 pounds, so you can move it. So it's an unusual receiver, but seems to work very well, has some unique features to it, and uses almost all Lochtel tubes. So like the only radio I have that has a lot of Lochtel tubes. And Pearson made some really good receivers during the 1930s. You know, into the 50s was making that little KE93, that little mobile receiver. It's really nice looking, and that was another one. So that's a story on the Pearson KP81. And I don't use it that much, but when I do, it doesn't disappoint me. With that, over to you, Cliff. WB4NKL, K1VVC.
K1VVC, WB4NKL. Okay, John. Yeah, those are nice. I've seen one for sale in Shelby, and then me and Brian's been chasing a couple, but I don't think we've caught them. I've got one of the little Pearson, the KE93s. It's a nice looking little set and built very well. I haven't actually run it on with a transmitter. I thought I might hook it up with one of the other mobile sets I've got and run it sometime. Bruce, I'll try to hunt that little schematic up. There's not too much to it besides the FETs, very few parts in it. So I'll hunt that up and try to send you a copy. Let's see, good copy on George coming in. I like this new 4 o'clock time. It don't interfere with the meals, and seems to be pretty good conditions also. And let's see, Brian, I've played with the little Yazoo receiver some. That's a nice little receiver. I'm getting a lot of receivers here though. more than I can listen to. But they're fun to mess with. You know, all of them's got a little different personality. So let's see. I'll send it on to Jimmy. Jimmy, I was hoping to hear the ART-13, but sounds like you're getting close. K4JAL, WB4NKL.
W4NKL in the group, K4JAL. Yeah, I think I'll just put another SO239 on a wire and stick it on the side of that thing and bid adieu to that dial key I was trying to use. It's going to work good, and I love watching those rotor dials go at it. I'm tickled to death with it. Really enjoyed talking to Buddy. He is the consummate technician, and met Marvin too. He's a brother in arms. He was in the Naval Security Group, and I was in the Army Security Agency at about the same time, and we had a lively little discussion. Sorry I got your name wrong, Dope, but you had a gangbuster signal up here in Burnsville, so you're getting out really good. So that's the way it's going. WN4PFI, K4JAL. Over to you.
K4JAL. Okay, Jimmy, it's WN4PFI, thanks. Yeah, I was a little concerned that I wouldn't have enough signal here today on this transmitter. I am waiting for some resistors to come in. I've tried running this on my Heathkit Warrior amplifier, but it's putting out a little bit too much power. I've got put a 6 dB pad on it, but it cut the power down to almost what it would normally run. So waiting on a few resistors to get here to put a 4 dB pad together, and then try to keep the output around 100, 110 watts or something like that. Copying everybody fine here today. And I need to get out of here, so I'm gonna listen the rest of the way. Thanks, Steve, for calling the net today. I don't know if Ken is still there or not, but if he is, Ken, you pick it up. Not, I guess it goes to Charlie. Thanks for letting me in today, guys. Hope y'all have a wonderful week. Ken or Charlie, pick it up. This is WN4PFI, and I'll be clear. Good afternoon, fellas.
Okay, WN4PFI in the group W4MEC. Yeah, Ken took off on the last one, and I'm tripping over stuff here. Real good round. Signals are good. Now, George, you were plus 10. I don't know what you've got running down there now, but it's doing the job today. Maybe it's because it's raining and conductivity or something. I don't know. But good signal, George. Let's see, what else? Brian, you might just try backing the coupler down, output coupler down towards 0 and bring it up. See if you can find a dip with less coupling. And the other thing is make sure the coupling, the variometer is turning, because when I got it back from George, he had soldered the variometer to max coupling, just in line, and I unsoldered it. But it wouldn't turn, and I was wondering if maybe somebody soldered it on 10 but loosened the shaft, so maybe you think it's turning or something, but I double checked that. But you should be able to back off the coupling and get a dip out of the thing. And of course the turns, the roller inductor is going to bring some of your current up. So, but yeah, if it's overcoupled, it won't dip. So try that. Let's see. And Jimmy, I was wondering about the wires you were talking about. You mean just a single wire that comes out of that thing for an antenna connection there? And so much of the military gear did that. You know, the SCR, the ARC-5s, the BC-375, the BC-348. They just had a terminal. And in the plane, they just ran those wires wherever they needed to go, and they were covered with a ceramic insulator. A lot of times you see them on the ARC-5, the SCR-274 in setup, and you'll see these white things that all look like links, you know, and the company that made those insulators is actually still in business and inventory, has those in inventory. So if you want them, you can order them and cover that wire up. And I'm doing what you did. I just have an adapter with a SO239 on it that adapts to the coax, but except on the receive side, I just come out of the terminals and run an insulated wire down to the receiver. I don't bother to use any coax with that. So, been working on Dennis's amp, putting that W8JI relay kit in it, and it's fairly straightforward, but his installation instructions leave a little to be desired. I've got them on a computer, and I go back and double and triple check them, because the AL1500 had two versions, where the latter version, they kludged together a power supply to run relays, and Dennis has got the kludged together one, and I'm just trying to be very careful not to blow anything up, because there's 30 volts involved in the later version and only 12 in the earlier, and I don't want to make a mistake, so I keep going back to my computer here and reading about it, and then go back and make sure I put it together right. But you know, it's not that difficult of a change out, but it's just not, to me, it's just not real clear about what wire's going where when it comes to the control voltage. So he needs to find him a Heathkit manual writer and help him straighten that out. And the trees around here, they have got contracted companies they're supposed to be picking up, but you're supposed to go online and fill out a form, which I did, and but after that they give you absolutely no clue as to when they're going to show up. And on this side of the city here, I have not seen anybody picking up anything. And some people say they've come and got them. some of them say if they filled the form out, they'd be out the next day. But the question is that they've been saying is if enough people don't fill the form out, they don't show up. So I've got one filled out, but I don't know if my neighbor up the road does and several others down on the highway. But so I haven't done anything with it. So and they haven't done anything with it. So, but it'd be nice to. I mean, there's no. When you go online and you look, there's nothing. There's no schedule. It says we're going to be in this area of Hendersonville next week. There's absolutely nothing. So it's all catch as catch can, and right now I haven't seen anybody catch any cans. So I don't know. Back to you, Steve. N4LQ in the group W4MC.
Okay, Charlie. This is N4LQ. Any late check-ins?
WB4ARK.
Well, buddy, glad you made it. Go ahead and make one and turn it back to me.
Well, I was watching the race at Phoenix, and I let time slip by, so I was checking my frequency, 3716. Well, yeah, looked like it was going to start raining this afternoon, but it hasn't done that yet. We could use a little bit of rain. We don't want any forest fires like they're having up north and in some of the other areas on the East Coast. So maybe we'll get a little bit of rain. And it looks like we're running about 110 watts. Well, that's pretty good. That's what Jimmy's unit was running. So I guess this one is back to normal power output. So we've been listening for a few minutes while hooking up the wires to the ART-13. And it was good luncheon we had. I was glad to turn that transmitter over to Jimmy. So hopefully he'll get some good use out of it. Well, we'll turn it back to net control. N4LQ WB4ARK.
Okay, yeah, and buddy, you better watch out for Jimmy. He's talking about hacking that thing up and putting an SO239 on the side, and I'd sure hate to see that big pretty white insulator go away. That would be a shame. So Jimmy, just a piece of coax on that thing and you'll be fine. This is N4LQ, and we'll make this our last round. And boy, there's so many things I could comment on. I appreciate the Pearson lesson there, John and Brian, and had no idea he was involved with what's her name? So Amelia, yeah. Let's see here. It's always interesting to hear how people have their rigs hooked up. And the ART-13 is a good one, how you interfaced your antenna relay with that single-ended output there, and what you connected the ground braid to, and all that. So maybe next net we can hash all that out. And Dave, real fine on the Cajun Navy and no FEMA, and just wonder if they knew something that FEMA may have known something that you didn't. I don't know. Or maybe you had the wrong kind of sign out there by the road. Let's see, Doak, you were about a 1.5 kc high, but good sounding audio, and that's excellent quality. But I could just see you're up a little bit high. It didn't make any difference. As long as you're not more than about 2 kcs or so, it just comes right on through. And well, anyway, let's go ahead and, oh, I did have a question. Has anybody found that drinking coffee helps with aches and pains and nerve pain and muscle pain and so forth? I'm just curious what the general consensus is on that, because I looked it up, and the comments are all over the map, and the doctors don't seem to know. So we'll make this the last round. Go ahead, Dave. WA4LLR, N4LQ.
All righty, N4LQ, WA4LLR, and good afternoon to Buddy. Good signal. I've never been able to tell that it helped my aches and pains any. It made me a little more alert, but that was about it. Let's see here. Jimmy. Yeah, that's what I do with my ART. I just use a piece of coax with a PL259 on one end for the receiver, and then just bare on the other. Use that internal relay. That vacuum relay in there is the best antenna changeover relay you're going to find. So just connect the center conductor there to the RX out and ground to ground, or you can just do the single wire thing like Charlie does. But I've got coax running down from mine, and it works great. So that's what I would do. I wouldn't fool with an external dial key. And Doak, if you're still listening, fine business on building the pad to lower the output of the Ranger. Of course, you can always cheat and do like I do, just use a coaxial T and run it through a dummy load to the amp, and that seems to work real well. I also lowered my output a bit by taking the 6146 out and putting a 2E26 in it. But the dummy load seems to work really good. So, you know, if you don't want to go to the trouble of building a pad, the dummy load works great. Not much else. Doug, the Harvey well sounds really good. Everybody sounds good today. So I'll say 7-3. God bless. Steve, thanks for calling it. Lord willing, we will see y'all Tuesday morning about 8 a.m. So let's see. George signed, I believe. So Brian, down to you. KN4R, WA4LLR.
Okay, Dave. Very good. WA4LLR in the group. KN4R. Well, the signals are improving. Everybody sounds really good. And regarding coffee, you know, I think coffee helps the brain. It also helps you keep the kidneys flushed out. But for me, it's more motivation. You know, it helps me get started when otherwise I would be in trouble. So, but I'm not sure about the aches and pains part of it. It does make you more alert, so it might make you more sensitive, more aware of the aches and pains. I'm not sure. But anyway, Charlie, thank you for the comments. I'm going to go check my test setup and try a few other things and see if I can't make something happen here. So wish me luck. So anyway, I enjoyed it, and I really had a great time at the luncheon. And like Steve said, chicken livers were just about perfect, as just about everything else was too. It was great. So they have really good food down there. 73s to everybody, and take it away, Mir. WF2U in the group, KN4R.
Yeah, Roger, KN4R in the group. This is WF2U. Yeah, just a comment about the ART13. Well, we have to think of the ART13 as part of a system, and screw with it, it's never going to tune correctly. Basically, I have a lot of notes of tuning it on various frequencies, and never put an SO239 connector in there. It's designed for a single and that non-50 ohm output, but this is what you can do with the 50 ohms. And I have all the notes. It's worked out. I actually was not the one that came up with it, but way before me. There are notes. It's on the internet. I'll find the link. also, and everything is explained circuit-wise. The tuning system in the RF tuning system of the ART13 has some positions that it will look like a pi network, except the values are not going to be correct on the frequencies that we need. Basically, there is not enough capacitance on the output capacitor, and you have to add the parallel capacitors. We usually do it with the 3 or 4 section even receiver type air variable capacitor in a box. So what you do is first of all set the controls to the letters that again I'll come up with the notes, and then I'll distribute it to whoever it wants, and it works great. It always works for me. Also, not only for me, but for everybody who did that. You set up to certain settings on the frequency that you need, and always end up with the configuration of a pi section. Now at the output you need more capacitor. As I said, use a capacitor from the output antenna output terminal to ground, and do the final tuning from there, and you always get full power that way into 50 ohms. And since I never use any receivers, any modern receivers with my ART13, but either an ARR5, the auto-tune Collins receiver, sorry, the ARR15, which is also made for aircraft antenna. So either that or a BC348. That's also a single input, and it simply look up in the ART13 manual the ARC8 configuration, and that's exactly the antenna. How the antenna goes: a simple single wire to the receiver, and that's it. And it works great. No problems, just like on the aircraft. And for tuning, just like in the ARC8, there is a switch that you can, without transmitting, you turn on the VFO of the ART13 just for 0 beat wherever you want, and then you turn that switch off. On the aircraft, it's mounted. It's not really listed as a fixed part because there is no instruction where to mount it. I guess they mount it wherever it's convenient for the radio operator or for whoever is installing the darn thing. But that's the way it goes, and always worked for me, and always got the proper load into a 50 ohm input antenna. And so you put the SO3, the UHF socket or connector in the little box where your variable capacitor, external variable capacitor is, and that's where your coax goes. That is connected with just a single wire on the input of it to the single terminal of the ART13. So 73, everybody, and take care. I'll talk to you the first available time I have. We'll see. In mornings are usually not good, so probably most likely next weekend. So it goes to Bruce, and again 73 to all, N4WD and the group, WF2U clear. Good night.
Okay, Mir. N2F, KF2U. It's a better getting old, isn't it, gentlemen? N4WD. Well, it's been enjoyable this afternoon. Good conversations. Learned a little bit. Learned a lot, really. And thank you, Cliff, for doing that. I appreciate it. No rush. Everybody have a good rest of the week. God's blessings, and take care. DCS, N4WD, 73.
Okay, N4WD in the group, W4DCS. Okay, Bruce, he came up pretty good on that one. And I switched over to my favorite SDR receiver, which I believe works better than SDR console, and that's AirSpy SDR Sharp. Has better filters, or at least I figured out how to make it work better for me. So yeah, I'm listening on modern stuff and transmitting on the Harvey Wells 1949, I think, is when these were released. Yeah, pretty neat radio. I really enjoy it. I had to do some work on the VFO. It was drifting really bad. And I've got it where it's pretty close now anyway. Still drifts just a little, but yeah, I think it's a hair low in frequency right now. That should put it right on. Anyways, enjoyed it this evening. Yeah, Bruce, you came up real good that time. I think it's a lot of that's band conditions, not the receiver. But anyhow, yeah, my ART-13 had been modified. Someone made a plate to go on the side of it where the old white cover used to be, and put SO239 connectors on there. So for running it on 3885, which is or 3715, it's fine. I think what we've experienced is if you try to run it on 40 or other bands, then the external capacitance becomes an issue. But I don't know, buddy, maybe you could clarify that. But this one had been very nicely done. It looks factory, but it's obviously a modification was done after the fact. But yeah, it did this thing with the microphone, I think, last time I used it, and I had forgotten about it, so I hadn't attempted to correct that problem. I've only got one mic with that type of Collins type connector, so I'll have to play around with it and figure out whether it's the mic side or the transmitter jack that's causing the problem there. So I've pretty much caught up on everything around here as far as projects, so that gives me something to do. I just have to remember to do it. Anyways, enjoyed it tonight, guys. Everybody's sounding good, and we'll keep it going around. John, here you go. K1VVC, W4DCS.
Yeah, very good. W4DCS in the group, K1VVC. Well, it's been enjoyable. I'm glad we're back at the 4 o'clock time. Conditions are getting a little bit better, but I didn't have any trouble hearing anyone at all. So with that, I guess we'll say so long. Speak to you next week, and hope everybody has a nice, healthy week. K1VVC. Let me turn to you, Cliff. WB4NKL.
K1VVC, WB4NKL. Yeah, I enjoyed the net. Good copy all the way around. Glad we're back at 4 o'clock. This ART-13 is almost exactly like, I guess, Mir was talking about. I've got an external 3-gang broadcast type capacitor in a box and a PL259 or a SO239 in the same box, and then I just come out of there with coax up to the ground terminal and the antenna terminal on the ART-13. and I'm not using the internal relay. I've got a RF sensed TR switch that I use on most everything with this Drake receiver, and makes it easy to. All I have to do is switch transmitters. Is just set another transmitter in place and hook one cable up. So I like that feature also. I guess that was about all. Coffee, I'm not sure about if that helps or not. I haven't done without it for a while to see if it gets worse. So I don't know. I don't know. I'd have to take a break and see if the pains increase, Steve. 73s, and thanks for calling it. Enjoyed it. K4JAL, WB4NKL.
WB4NKL, K4JAL. Well, Steve, coffee makes me twitch. If you like to twitch, drink a lot of coffee. I quit about 6 months ago, and I can now solder reasonably well. Couldn't before. I will miss Tuesday's net because I've got this pain day for me. I have to go to the eye doctor and probably get a shot. So there you go. And no, buddy, I am not butchering up the side of the radio. I tried to put a TR switch on it, a Dow key, and it wasn't any good. The Dow key wasn't. I've rigged up SO239s that will just plug into those little push connectors and hook my coaxes up to that. And I've got a gang condenser in a box that I'm going to use, and looks like the power out of it is good. Everything is going to be good. It's just I should not have tried to deal with that Dow key. That's life. Over to you, Charlie, W4MEC, K4JAL, 73.
Okay, did Doak leave?
He said he did.
He did.
Yeah, I missed that. Anyway, K4JAL in the group, W4MEC. Okay, real good. Yeah, well, I've never had any issues tuning any of that stuff into 50 ohms. They just need a little extra capacitance. I know on 160 meters of TCS on mine needs 500 in series and 200 to ground, and I get 40 watts out on the TCS, and the other gear does too. You know, the loads in the plane were totally screwy. You had open wire inside the fuselage going everywhere. You had one fixed length antenna at one time came out the side of the plane, went to the wing, made about a 120-degree turn, and went up to the tip of the vertical stabilizer, and then they started coming out of the top of the fuselage straight back to that point. But all screwy loads, along with the trailing wire antenna, which they did have a chart to reel it out, and there was a mechanical counter that would tell them how many feet was reeled out. So and they would fine tune it in or out depending on what they saw on the meter. So the plane was just completely full of screwy loads. But when you got a nice 50 ohm load, you can sit down and sort out what you need. And like I say, I've just got fixed capacitors with a gator lead. So if I've got to change bands, I got it written down where I got to go to the next capacitor. And everything works just peachy. So anyway, that's what I solved on that mess. So anyway, good to talk to you fellas, and we will look for you on Tuesday morning, and y'all have a good rest of the evening here. And I guess Buddy's still there. W4ARK in the group, W4MEC.
W4MEC, WB4ARK. All right. Very good copy on everybody. Good time to be on, just as it's getting dark outside. Well, like I said, Jimmy, you don't need anything but just a piece of coax, connect it to the terminals, connect your shield up to the ground, and connect that to your transmatch, and connect your transmatch to the antenna. All said and done. And yeah, the internal relay antenna relay works very nicely. Vacuum relay on the ART13 does a very good job. Never had any problems with it, and it's a very low impedance on the antenna system of the ART13, more like about 15, 16 ohms. So anyhow, it all works out with a 50 ohm antenna just nice, and you don't have to run any special wiring. So good luck on that. If you need anything, send me an email and we'll hash it out. So that's it. We'll send it on to Steve, and everybody have a great upcoming week. N4LQ, WB4ARK.
Okay, it's been a nice net, gentlemen. Thanks everybody for checking in today, and I guess we'll be on 160 tonight on 1864 at 8 p.m. and hope everybody can make it. We just been getting down in participation a little bit, so hope you can make it tonight, and then Tuesday at 8 a.m. is our next Old Friends Net. 73s, this is N4LQ closing the net. Bye-bye.
N4LQ, here is November 4, Radio Lima Delta, over.
Roger, N4RLD, it's N4LQ. Well, glad you could make it, Rick. You're sounding good up here, over.
Yeah, sitting here enjoying the conversation, not sure getting my, just dipping my little toe into AM, over.
Well, that's good, yeah. So you're running the Alpha amplifier, or are you barefoot?
I'm driving the Alpha 76A, and just wondering how everything looks on your end. I'm looking here on YouTube, it looks okay, over.
Oh, yeah, plenty of modulation, 100%, no problem at all, and good strong signal from down there. What'd you say, you were 40 some miles south of Atlanta?
Yeah, down in the country, if you can call it country. You're 40 miles south, 45 miles south of Atlanta, here in the big town of Moreland, Georgia.
Okay, well, welcome, and I hope you can continue to check in with us. Our next net is Tuesday, and that's at 8 a.m., and I don't know if that's fits your schedule or not. And then we've got a little group that meets every night on sideband on 160. If you can do that band on 1864 KCs.
Well, I'll give it a shot. I just got this antenna up, as you know, so I certainly appreciate you hanging in there and letting me give you a shot here on AM, over.
All right, glad to do it. Glad you could make it, and keep coming back. We'll put you on the roster, and if you would like, and just keep checking in with us.
Yeah, if you would, those reminders come in handy if you send them out. So yeah, if you would put me on there, and all my stuff is good on QRZ, over.
Yeah, okay. All right, I'll put you on the email reflector. It's a groups.io email, so be looking for an invitation.
Well, I thank you very much, and appreciate it and enjoyed listening. I was here at 4 o'clock, but I decided I wouldn't jump in there since I didn't know the format or how things went around, but I enjoyed the conversation, over.
Sometimes it gets a little technical. A lot of us have some old equipment. Do you have any boat anchors?
I got some boat anchors. I guess I could see if that DX60B would ever work again on AM, over.
Oh yeah, that'll work, and it puts out about 8 watts. You could probably drive the Alpha with that.
Yeah, I'm not hitting it full limit here with this radio, and I could try that out. I got a HQ110A as a receiver sitting over there, so I'm gonna have to get my stuff out, over.
Yeah, set you up a little AM station there. That would be pretty nice. I've got a HQ 110 also, and a DX60. As you can see on QRZ, I put the VFO in it, and it works pretty good.
Yeah, I remember talking to you about the VFO in there, Steve. I remember that conversation that we had. Well, I won't hold you up. I certainly thank you for coming back to my call, and hope to get in here and make some friends on AM. Over.
Okay, Rick. Good to talk to you for the second time today, and looking forward to many more conversations on CW and AM. N4RLD, N4LQ will be clear.
Yeah, 73. This is N4RLD.